Alright guys, so now that we know how to watch the models, and I just realized I could probably zoom this in a bit and you guys could see it better. Yeah, okay. So once we know how to watch models and how to do certain things, like right now we have the desired effect that when you create a user account, a profile is created. And right now we don't really have any new parameters other than the date, the created at, as we can see here. We're just keying into the first name by the username that is stored in the user object, but these two models don't know about each other. They don't know that they are related, and so let's implement a DNA test. Let's relate them. Let's inform them of each other. That is essentially what we are doing. So in profile.json, and I just realized that we actually are going to have to we're going to have to subclass user. We're going to have to create our own model for the user object in order to do this. So let's go ahead, and before we do anything, let's create our own user model. So LB model user, this is going to be all lowercase. This is how we're going to do it. And then let's select DB. Here we're going to select user as the base and common, let's say email, it's going to be a string. Password, it's going to be a string, and sure, that's fine. That's all we really need. And now if we were to, we're going to need to change something in the model config, I believe. Yeah, the model config. Let's leave this for now. In fact, what we could do is just say public false. Let's leave this as is for now. And now on our server, let's change this to our lowercase version, which is our own model. So if I were to come up into common models, we see now we have user and profile. Now we need access to both of these JSON files in order to create relations, and so that's why we had to subclass the user itself. So let's go ahead and run npm start here. And now we can go to our Explorer. I'm going to refresh, close profiles, and now instead of using the user model that we did before, by subclassing that into, you could give this a better name. It's going to get kind of confusing. Just remember, for all of the rest of this tutorial, when I say user, it is lowercase. All right? Lowercase user every time. Okay, so now that we're past that, I'm going to post a new user object. And we're going to say email is going to be nick@nick.com. And password is going to be test. And let's also pass a username. It's going to be Nick, all lowercase. And let's try this out. And so, okay, so we now have a user account. If we look up at profiles and click try it out, we don't have a profile. So something has failed here. App models user. Did I save this? I believe I did. believe I saved that, but it didn't want to key into that. Let me make sure I'm saving this. Save, and now let's restart again and try again. Because I'm creating the lowercase user here. Users post. Try again. We got it. Let's check and see if we got the output. We didn't. So, interesting. So it's not... I wonder if we switched it back to user. Save. Restart it. And now let's post a user object. Look here, and still nothing. So what we could do is we could save. No. We forgot to, in model config, yeah, we need to remove the old instance of the user model where we're overriding it with user. So if I go ahead and save that, and then in server, we're going to make sure user is all lowercase here, then we're going to get access to when a user object is created. Call that route. So let's go ahead and restart the API server. There we go. And now if I click try it out on the post route for users again, we should see this message. Target user, however, model user is not attached to the application, cannot use this relation. The application has a custom user subclass, but does not fix access token relations to this new model. All right. So let's go ahead and start setting up user relations. I guess this was actually a perfect time to talk about related models where we were going to subclass the user object anyway. So let's go ahead and open up our user.json file. Now here under relations we can see it's an object, and so we're going to start specifying different required relations. And so let's go ahead and drop this down, and let's go ahead and select access tokens. And this is going to be our access token. So we're going to say type, and this is going to be has many. So when you're defining a relation, there's always going to be two corresponding ends, has many and belongs to, or has one and belongs to. So the access token has a belongs to relation set to user. So let's set this to has many. Model is going to be access token, all camel case, I believe. And then foreign key is going to be blank for right now. That's fine. And let's actually leave this like this. So let's go ahead and save. And now cancel out of here and start. And I don't think we forgot anything. Access token belongs to... Alright, so what we're going to have to do, I think, is also subclass access token. which we will get to in the next video. For right now, starting with this relations, what I'm going to do is delete this and just create profile as a relation. You can give this any name you want. This just is going to be what it's accessed by within this model. So you would be able to access user.profile. And what we're going to say is type is going to be has many, so that a user can have multiple profiles, perhaps. And then model is going to be profile. That's the name of the model that we're going to associate this with. And then foreign key, we're going to leave this blank here because we're going to specify that relation in the profile model. So open up profile.json, and under relations here, we are going to say user. So the type is going to be belongs to, just like this. Model is going to be our custom user model, so all lowercase. And then foreign key, it should automatically create a foreign key in the form of the model and then capital I and lowercase d. So it should default to this. However, I'm going to set it anyway. Now I'm going to save this, and we're going to cancel out and npm start. And now in here I'm going to post my user object, and we get this. Now if I want to get the user by ID, we may not be able to because of access control. Yeah, authorization required. So let's go ahead and log in. So I'm going to type email is nick@nick.com, and password is test. So I'm going to log in. I get an access token. I'm going to copy this, and up here at the top, we're going to paste it and hit set access token. We are logged in now. So if I come up here again to access and get, now we can see that we're properly getting this. Now the really cool thing is that in the filter, it's just a JSON object, and the two main things we're going to be concerned about is a where condition as well as an include condition. So I'm going to talk about includes right now. So we need to make sure this is valid JSON. So I'm going to say include and then the model that we want to include, the related model. So in this instance, it's profile. So I'm going to try it out, and we can see that we're getting this, and then profile here is the relation, the related model, so it knows what to get. We know it's a has many relation from the user side, so it's going to return a list of objects of all related profiles. Now if we wanted to change this to a has one, let's say we just want to associate one profile with each user. So a user object can now have only one profile. So now let's Control C and let's restart this. Now we're going to have to do those steps again because we're not persisting any of this into memory. So we're going to have to post a user. All right. We're going to have to log in as that user. So I'm going to scroll down here to the login method, and all my previous data is still here. So I'm going to click try it out. It's going to post it. I'm going to come down, copy this new access token, and paste it here, and click set access token. And now, if I go up to get user 1 and include profile, when I click try it out, we're going to see that the profile now is just an object. So if I were to be making this request over the REST API actually, then this is what would be returned to the application, and I would be able to access user.username and it would print this out, or I could say user.profile.firstname and I could start accessing this data. Now that's really a basic example of relations, and once we get to actually building something with this API, we're going to be writing more of these relations. And actually in the next video, I guess we should probably subclass access tokens so that we can get rid of that annoying message every time we start the application.